Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and today we're going to do something a little bit different. You see, 2023 is coming to a close. It's actually gone a lot slower than most years, mostly because, well, you know, the franchise that we follow has mostly gone to a stop, but, you know, it's a new year coming up and hopefully Creative Assembly have learnt, and I kind of just want to go into a little bit of speculation, some personal hopes, call it hopium, copium, whatever you want to call it, for the next year for Total War. And yeah, I mean, generally with these types of things, I'm usually a bit on the nose, mostly because, you know, I follow this company like a hawk, let's be honest there, and I've pretty much gotten used to the whole cycles in terms of releases and so on. So yeah, let's have a little bit of fun, let's speculate, and yeah, let's try not to sound doomery, right? So obviously before we jump into 2024, we have to talk about the end of 2023. This is this month, and obviously it's very important to note that Creative Assembly normally close around the 16th of December. This is this coming Saturday, so I imagine they might close on the 15th or on the 18th. From there, I would expect some radio silence. Well, it's been radio silence so far, but you know what I mean. In a perfect world, we'd get some sort of statement, but I don't know if that's going to happen, and if it does happen, it might be at the start of the new year, you know, coming in fresh and hot. It's a weird thing, because Creative Assembly have done, like, info dumps prior to closing up, but it's already, what? It's Wednesday today, right? Yes, it's Wednesday. As you can tell, I'm horribly sleep-deprived right now. But yes, I don't know if anything is going to come out this week. I very much doubt it. I guess they don't want to acknowledge the fact that Thrones of Decay has been delayed, which, I mean, it's fairly obvious to everyone now. I'm not sure why they want to stay away from that, but I guess it's to avoid any unnecessary drama right before the Christmas break. We also have to take into account that the layoffs are happening, so right now they're busy with internal stuff, so I guess they don't want to communicate that much whilst they're sorting out in-house stuff, right? Which, to be honest, is kind of fair. So I imagine the main work of stuff will come into light at the beginning of 2024. This is Thrones of Decay, which could be in January or February. They'll probably want to wait a little bit, mostly because, well, nobody really has cash during January, do they? Most people have spent all their cash and then some during the Christmas break. I know I have, and, you know, they want to strike when people actually have some disposable income. It's also important to note here that obviously there have been rumors about an addition to 4.2, and I honestly don't know what to think of that. I mean, it sounds very believable, and if it is the case of that, that would likely come out before Thrones of Decay, mostly to try alleviate all the stress that has happened over the past few months. Now, it does kind of sound a little bit believable, mostly because, well, if Thrones of Decay has the same level of content as Shadows of Change did, and is the same exact price, well, that's probably going to be the end of CA, not just Total War Warhammer 3, but the end of CA. Keep in mind that this is their only active title that is actually generating income, which it sounds a bit grim when we used to have 3 active games getting DLC all the time. There was actually no rest for content creators, essentially. God, I miss those days. So, realistically, if, and it's a big if here, if the 4.2 rumors are correct, then that would probably come out January or February, maybe even January, considering that nobody's going to spend money, and then maybe March, April for Thrones of Decay, which isn't really ideal considering that we were expecting Thrones of Decay in December. I mean, well, the roadmap even said that we were going to get it in, like, at the end of the year and stuff. But, yeah, you know, plans change. This is a very recurring theme with Creative Assembly. And that's not me sounding negative, by the way. It's actually just, it's common knowledge, right? There have been interviews, even I've done interviews with, say, Rich Aldridge, and I've asked about certain DLCs. I was like, oh yeah, that was completely different when we originally thought it up. That was, I think, the Vampire Coast DLC. So, yeah, plans do change often. The big question is what's going to happen with the roadmap. Obviously, this isn't really relevant anymore, considering that Thrones of Decay isn't a 2023 release. It's still listed as a winter thing, so I guess that still makes sense. But it does mean that we are a little bit behind schedule in terms of releases. The general consensus, as per a statement from Creative Assembly a long time back, is we're going to get more DLC more often, which obviously isn't true, but many of us have started to think that we were going to get one every 4 months. Again, hasn't been the case for a while now, but yeah, I think Thrones is still, like, it's still falling onto winter 2023 regardless. Spring 2024, I mean, that's what, April, May, and June. yep, Sinesh DLC, if that's still there. Creative Assembly do have this thing again. Once again, they change plans a lot. But as a big Sinesh fan, I really hope that this is staying here. Mostly because, look, there's not a lot of Sinesh stuff left, let's be honest. One DLC and it's done. Might as well just finish off the race, right? It would be nice to actually start seeing fully completed factions in the game, you know? Like, no DLC left for them, nothing else, because all their units, all their Lord variants, all their other stuff has been added. From there, I think it's safe to assume that we'll get a Khorne DLC, because, I mean, we've just had a Sinch one, we're getting a Nurgle one, we're going to get a Sinesh one, if that's still there, and then, yeah, finish off Khorne, be done with it, all the Monogod stuff. And then if by any chance that Games Workshop do allow for Old World stuff and new variants do come in for the demons or the monogods in general, yeah, they can add that in the future content. But as far as it stands, just finish off the monogods. There's been a lot of Chaos stuff, and I know people are sick of Chaos, but it would just be great if they just finished off the main Chaos factions, and that way there could be some breathing room for everyone else. You know, there's a lot of factions which desperately need some fine-tuning here and there, you know, the Dark Elves being one of them, the Lizardmen desperately, Norska. I mean, Norska falls on Chaos, but you get what I mean. They're their own thing. Obviously, we have to talk about the very curiously unintentional leak, right, of the Dogs of War, right? We've got Borgio the Besieger and Lucarenza, which, yeah, this is likely going to be another race pack in the future, something that a lot of people kind of expect anyway. They added in those details there just to kind of throw everyone off, you know, offset the drama from Shadows of Change. I don't know if that will come out this year, though, considering that Thrones of Decay has obviously been delayed now. Had everything been on schedule, maybe, but I don't see us getting 4 DLCs this year. I really don't, unless they push either the Sinesh DLC or the Khorne DLC, well, hypothetical Khorne DLC, out of the way for a Dogs of War thing, which, to be honest, I wouldn't mind them doing that. It obviously makes some money. Race packs do have a lot more hype value to the fan base than a Lord pack would. And if you guys are fully aware, Creative Assembly are right now in desperate need for funds because, you know, 100 million down the drain. Still can't believe that happened, but yeah. All I'm saying is it would be cool. Obviously, the Dogs of War are a very unique faction in terms of just styling on how they were. Personally, I'd prefer the mini race pack idea because, you know, that would introduce us to the Estalia and Araby, the races that we want, rather than just a mercenary faction. But hey, you never know what they're actually planning. The names that were leaked, for example, are all Talian characters. Remember, Lucarenza's from Tobaro, and Tobaro is actually a Talian city-state, not Estalian, despite being in the Estalian Peninsula. So it could just be a mini race pack for Talia. I mean, who doesn't want a bunch of kind of steampunkish Romans? If you go from all the different types of lore for Talia, this is the thing, it's not very well fleshed out. But we know that Old World has been hinting it, which again makes me believe that maybe they're not being truthful about the situation, and yes, they do have more access to Old World than they let on. So yeah, I think that we're just going to be firmly rooted in Chaos for 2024, which again makes sense. They did say that this game was going to be out to Chaos, and it is, isn't it? But I'm a big Chaos fan myself, so I'm perfectly fine with this. I know you guys won't be. Well, it depends, honestly. If the content does get better, as the leaks and rumors have been speculating, right? Hey, it might actually be a better run overall. Now, this is a Total War video, not just Warhammer, so we do have to talk about Pharaoh. I know some of you aren't interested. Well, the player numbers show it. But, yeah, Pharaoh needs to have DLC. It's one of these things where there are 3 DLCs that they need to do, right? Legally, they have to, unless they want to refund whoever bought the game, essentially, right? Which Steam charts, I think, suggested that it was going to be about 30,000 copies sold. It might be more. So, yeah, you know, it's been a while. We had a patch a month after the game launched. I imagine that this is going to happen. Like, they're going to do those 3 DLCs, and then Pharaoh's just going to die. Same thing that will happen with Troy, right? They did a few DLCs, and then, nope, no more. I don't even think they said that the last DLC for Troy was like the last DLC, because we were expecting more stuff. So, yeah, they're going to leave it open air and possibly then send CA Sophia to new projects, right? They'll probably start sending people to other departments and other games that are currently in development, because we do know that there's still Total War games in development. Whether or not it's with this rumored new engine or not is still up in the air. But yeah, CA Sophia probably are still working on Pharaoh, finishing off whatever they had planned. We already know there's a bunch of stuff in the game files. And then next project. I really hope the next project, by the way, we'll not hear about this for like 2 or 3 years, given how it's been with the CA Sophia teams and so on. But like there was a rumor about like a Total War Babylon, which was supposed to like mix up with Troy and Pharaoh. And I really hope that's not the case, because way to kill CA Sophia with that, right? Let them have a main title, because they're a good studio and they deserve to have a little bit of time in the sun. Don't give them B team work, give them A team work, because they could make a grand scale Total War. Look, Pharaoh is not a bad game. All things considered, it's a fun game. The only problem is it's horrendously overpriced and it's a setting that nobody really asked for, barring like 2 people. Obviously, they're not going to be making like Med3 or Empire 2 or even the hypothetical Total War 40k, because, well, that's likely going to be with the main Horsham team or whatever's left from it. We don't know what's actually happened with the layoffs, but give them another thing. Let them have fun, right? They're a good team. Let them just go balls to the wall. Hell, there were rumors once of a, Total War Warhammer the Old World. That would be freaking cool. Yes, I know more Warhammer, but just put them on a historical team and let them do something, but their own team. Now, this is the big one. I actually think that we're going to hear about a new Total War game next year. Now, I don't think it's going to be one of these things where we're going to see one getting released. Creative Assembly used to release a game a year, and that did not work out. But I do imagine that we're going to hear possibly the next major historical game. They might announce it at the end of 2024 or start heavily hinting on it. Mostly because they want to start getting a win again, right? Creative Assembly on that desperate point that they need wins, and hinting at, say, for example, Med3 or Empire 2, or even the hypothetical. I've been hearing this rumor of a Total War World War 1, right? Personally, I don't think it would work because it's a lot of trench warfare, but hey, it could happen. Creative Assembly do odd, strange things every now and then, and I'm not just saying hyenas. I mean, remember Total War Elysium? That was a Total War game, by the way, despite being a card game. But yeah, they'll probably start hinting at it. I mean, they started hinting at, like, Pharaoh near the end of Troy, and they were hinting at Rome Remastered fairly early on, too, with, like, little cryptic tweets here and there. So, yeah, it's probably going to be the same thing. It's about time. Like, let's be honest, a lot of us have been waiting for, like, Med3 or Empire 2. This all might be in the new engine. Let's be honest, they need a new engine if they want the game to do well, right? There's tech debt there. We've seen it. It's not just with Warhammer 3 being the gargantuan game that it is, but, Pharaoh has it. Free Kingdoms definitely had it too, which is a massive shame because I've been playing a lot of Free Kingdoms lately. And yeah, it's very obvious that the tech debt has been there for a long, long time. But I do think that we're going to hear something. I don't know. It's just a feeling that I have. Hopefully I'm right, because even I want a Med3 at this point. I really want a proper historical game. Let's see if we get one. No immortal characters, we back to the whole kingdom politics stuff and, actual family trees and all that stuff. So, yeah. But this is just some thoughts regarding the recent situation. I'm not trying to be doom and gloom here. I'm just wanting to have a little bit of a conversation on what I think is coming next. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I know it's been a time to be pessimistic, but I'm tired of it. I'll be honest with you. Obviously, I'll call out their shit when they need to be called out, but I'm hoping for the best next year. There's that one phrase, like if you guys know Mel Brooks films, right? Hope for the best, expect the worst. Still always think of it that way. However, I'm still hoping for the best. But yeah, with all that being said, have a great day, guys. I'm going back out for Christmas shopping. I'm so fed up of Christmas. I'm imagining that you guys are probably the same way. So yeah, don't stress out too much, guys. It's almost over.